what would be some of the inputs? I know that you said that the least inputs, the better, or at least that's one of the things that people like about it. I would imagine that those inputs are probably the most important things. What would those look like? Like, what type of inputs are you looking at to analyze the deal?
Sure. So some of the most important ones are going to be your pro forma rents. That's an easy one.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, did I lose you for a sec?
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
Um,
it kind of jittered out, but I'm still here. Uh-huh.
okay. So, the pro forma rents are a very sensitive input where you change and for those that aren't familiar, pro forma just means your business plan or your future, right? So if the rents are currently $1,000 and your pro forma is to move them to 1,100, right? That's your business plan, pro forma rents of 1,100. So
Yeah.
moving rents just by $5 is going to really change your numbers quite a bit. So it's a very sensitive input. You want to really make sure you get it right, and you get it right by justifying your rents based on rent comps. And rent comps are really simple as an idea, but they actually can be pretty complicated, right? The simple idea is simply, well, the deal next door is getting 1,100 rents. So if I just do what they're doing, which is maybe, upgraded flooring and backsplash in the kitchen, and then
Mhm.
I've got my 1,100. And that's what rent comps are. But where they get complicated is, okay, well, what are the ancillary fees for the other property, right? Are they
Mhm.
billing back for utilities the same way you are? Do they have amenities that are comparable, right? Or is it 9-foot ceilings versus 8-foot ceilings, or
Mhm.
all these different things? So it's all about narrowing it down and making sure that your rent comps are apples to apples. So that's kind of the one main one I'll touch on for the inputs, right? Making sure that your pro forma rents are right. Expenses are expenses. Obviously, you need to do your homework. You need to know what it costs to operate the property, and the way you do that is by having a portfolio that you operate, so you know what the costs are, or by relying on a partner like a property management company that can provide you their budgets and what they think is reasonable. So
Mhm.
that's the expense side. No real magic there. Um, the the harder piece, like, I'll skip forward to the end, which is a more challenging piece, is the exit cap rate. That's a really famous input. Everyone wants to talk about the exit cap rate. It's very controversial
Uh-huh.
because a lot of people, because basically what that exit cap rate does is, depending on what you input, it determines what you are projecting to sell the property for in the future.
Mhm.
And obviously, if you're projecting to sell it for more in the future, it's, your numbers are going to tell you that it's a good deal,
Yeah.
right? So, and that's a dangerous thing, because you might get yourself into a deal that maybe you overpaid for, or is not a deal that you
Mhm.
really want to be in, because you're assuming that you're going to be able to sell it for a certain price in the future, which may or may not be true. You never know what actually is going to happen, but on a projected basis, what we try to do is be as reasonable as possible with what our future value is going to be, within reason though, because at the end of the day, we're talking about all these different ways to be smart. But if
Mhm.
you're going to be, so smart and conservative and basically take no risk, you're just going to assume a doomsday scenario for everything,
Yeah.
then
You're not
you're
going to
never
do
going to
a good deal.
buy. You're not going to
Yep.
buy a deal, right? Because there's a million bidders competing against you, all with much more optimistic assumptions. So
Uh-huh.
that idea right there is where the art comes in with the science, because how do we be aggressive while staying defensive?
Conservative. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So how do we be conservative but push the numbers so that the deal makes sense, without risking losing capital? So that's really the name of the game right now. And um, so yeah, those are kind of some of the inputs that we focus on.